Are you scared to do yoga since being diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia? Don't worry. I'm Caroline Jordan, your certified health and fitness coach, here to help you use movement as medicine for better physical and mental health. Today, I welcome special expert guest, Shannon Yeager, onto the channel to lead us through an osteoporosis safe yoga routine that will help build bone density and improve your health. All you will need is a mat and some space. It's always a good idea to check with your healthcare team for permission. You can show them this video in advance for the thumbs up. Are you ready to get started? Meet us on your mat and let's flow together for better health and stronger bones.
All right, so to get started, make sure that you've got a lot of space around you so that you won't knock into any tables or chairs. It's also really helpful to be near a wall for some support in some of the poses that we're going to be doing today.
Awesome, all right.
And it can be really helpful to grab a pair of blocks or thick books. This can be really helpful for poses like downward dog, or if you want a little extra activation in chair pose. So go ahead and grab all the things that you need. Most important for today's practice is going to be listening to your own body. So don't do anything that feels unsafe for your body. You can always back off. You can always rest when you need.
I'm so grateful to have you here, Shannon. So everything today has been planned to be safe for osteoporosis or osteopenia, but again, like she said, listen to your body and enjoy your practice.
All right, let's get started. So we're going to start in mountain pose. It's a standing position and we want the toes to face forward. I want you to feel your feet firmly rooted on the ground and then a little bit of a bend in your knees so we're not locking out the knees. Good. Now this is going to be a really powerful standing pose. So we're not just like hanging out, doing nothing, loosey-goosey. We're gonna make this really powerful. Pick your toes up off of the mat. Feel the inner arches of your feet start to lift. Feel that engagement. Good. Spread your toes wide and then gently place them back down on the mat. Good, so toes are still facing forward, knees are gonna face forward. And now start to bring the energy up through your thighs. So the quads are gonna start to get nice and active. Good, already, this is gonna get kind of hard. Turn your glutes on. The legs are gonna build a really solid foundation here. And then turn your core on, so hug your belly button in and up. Good. So now this pose already is going to be really strengthening. We're already fighting gravity by just standing up. And then the leg activation is going to help to build that bone strength. It's like if I came over and tried to push you over, you're not going anywhere. That's how strong mountain pose can be. Good. Now, as I'm talking, I hope that you're also breathing. Good. Breathing is key in life and in yoga. It also helps make sure that our body is getting the oxygen we need to actually build that bone density. Good. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now start to let it go a little bit. You can relax. All right, we're gonna come into the second pose today, which is chair pose. So it's actually even a little bit more intense than mountain pose. And we're gonna give a couple variations here. So variation one, Caroline is gonna come towards a wall. And just like you might have done back in like middle school or high school days, she's gonna sit on the wall. Ooh. Good, yeah, so already her thighs are gonna start to engage. Toes are facing forward, knees are facing forward. Now, if you have a block with you today, if you want, you can place a block in between your thighs and that is gonna make it engage even more. Now, if you're not using a wall today, you'll just step forward, everything's still facing forward. You'll hinge the hips back and then start to engage your core. Hands can be at the heart. Now, if you want to activate your arms here as well, you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Now sit the hips back like you're sitting in that invisible chair. Are we breathing? So here we're building the strength in our feet, in our ankles, in our legs, and if you've got the arms raised, then your shoulders are also working here. It's a full body exercise.
My legs are shaking.
Yep, one more inhale. Exhale, slowly come up. You can bring your hands down. You can come away from the wall. Whew. Nice job.
That was hard.
All right, we're gonna move the blocks to the side, and then we're gonna come into a warrior two pose. So another really strong pose. So you'll bring your right foot forward. Your left foot is going to step back. Your right toes are gonna face forward. Your right knee is gonna face forward. And your knee is not gonna come more than a 90-degree angle. We really wanna keep some stability here. So that might mean you back off of it a little bit, and that is okay. Your back foot is gonna be parallel, maybe slightly turned in just to create space for the hips, but not turned out. Good, once you've got your really strong, steady foundation, reach your arms to the front and the back of the room. Gaze over your front fingertips and breathe. So here it's another really big leg strengthener. We're getting that stability in the feet, in the ankles, in the shins, in the thighs, in the hips, in the glutes. All of it is working.
I feel that.
Good. One more full deep breath here. And then start to straighten the leg, and we're gonna take a step forward, and we're gonna switch sides. So now your left leg is gonna be forward, and your right leg is gonna come back. So it's always important that we do both sides and that we even everything out. And likely you may have one side that is a little bit stronger, a little bit more stable than the other. If you notice that, then congratulations, you're a human, but that's why we do both sides. So strengthening this side, left toes facing forward, left knee facing forward. Now your front heel is gonna want to align with the back arch of your foot, so you can kind of shimmy and get everything aligned, and then reach your arms, gaze over your front fingertips. Now, as we're talking and as we're holding, if you need to come out of it a little bit, give yourself a break, and then come right back into it, absolutely do that. Taking care of your body is number one. Good, one more full deep inhale here. Long, slow exhale. Feeling that stability in the legs. And then taking a step forward to gently come out of it. Whew. It's always important to be slow and mindful with the transitions too. The transitions in between poses are just as important as the poses themselves. We want to stay stable in the body so that we don't injure ourselves. All right, so the next pose that we're gonna do is gonna work on balance. And balance is so important, especially with osteoporosis. We really need to make sure we're building that strong foundation in the legs and the ankles so that we don't fall over. So we're gonna come into one of my favorites on some days. Some days I kind of dread this pose. It's tree pose. All right, so come near a wall for some support. And we're gonna start standing on the right leg. So our right leg is gonna be our trunk. And then place your right hand on the wall. Now start to really hug your right hip in, hug your glute in. Feel the four corners of your feet, your foot, of your right foot, really rooted down. So that's your foundation. Once you feel strong in that leg, pick the left leg up and start to turn the knee out to the side. Good, now Caroline is gonna come into a nice supported tree pose. So she's gonna put her heel on her shin and make a little kickstand here. And we're just starting to build that strength in the legs. Already you're gonna start to feel that right leg really working. Now, if it feels okay for you, you can take the foot a little higher, placing the foot right below the knee. It's very important though that we don't put the foot actually on the knee joint itself. We wanna protect the knee. Good, and then you can just kind of open the chest here. Now, if you're feeling like you want to do balance without the wall, you can definitely bring both arms up towards the ceiling, or one arm is good too.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, or you can just stay with the wall. So whatever feels right for you, making sure you're safe, supported. One more inhale. And then exhale, gently release. Good. Whew. You can shake it out.
Ankle circles?
Yes, all the things. The good news is we only have two sides, so we're halfway done. All right, so we're gonna do tree pose on the other side, and why don't we swap sides? All right, so this time left hand is gonna find the wall. Left leg's gonna be our base. Hug the hip in, get really strong here. And then the opposite leg is gonna come up. Now you can take your little kickstand. Really great place to start as you start to build that stability. And just by balancing on one leg, we're already starting to build that bone density back in the leg. This is a great one to do probably every other day in the kitchen while you're waiting for your coffee to be done in the morning. Now, of course, you can lift that foot a little bit higher if you'd like. And I want you to think about your hip opening here as well. Staying really tight in the core and then letting your chest broaden. Of course, we're also breathing here. Smiling, as my friend Caroline likes to say, is very advanced.
Very advanced.
It always makes it a little bit more fun when you have fun with it. Good, one more breath here. Good, and then go ahead, release, and shake it out.
When you practice this routine, make sure you're not relying on the wall too much.
Yes.
The wall's there for support, but not everything.
Yes, this is a very good point. And of course, you can always test your balance. You can even rest like a little finger. You can come up. So it's just something there so that you stay safe. All right, the next pose that we're going to do is downward facing dog. So this pose is really good to help lengthen the spine. It's pretty common over time for the spine to kind of round forward. So we're gonna help reverse some of that rounding today and create space between the vertebrae.
Woo, all right.
Now, this is a pose that you can do with blocks if the wrists are feeling sensitive and you want to elevate the ground a little bit. So if you're using your blocks today, you'll place them in front of you, and this is where your hands are gonna go. So you'll step into a plank first, just briefly to get the spacing between the hands and the feet. And then you'll lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Good, now breathing here, try to release any tension in your head and your neck. It is absolutely not mandatory for the heels to come anywhere near the ground. So don't focus so much on that. Focus really on getting your hips up towards the ceiling and lengthening your vertebrae. Good, deep, full breaths here. Now, if bearing any weight on the wrists doesn't feel good, you can always move the blocks out of the way and come into a dolphin variation on your forearms.
Shannon, how should someone get in and out of downward dog safely?
So my favorite way to get into this would be to come into a tabletop position first.
So here?
Yeah, on your hands and your knees, and kind of just get the hands really situated and strong. And then when you're ready, lift the hips.
Great.
How did that feel for you?
So awesome.
Good. All right, one more breath here. And then lower your knees back down to the mat. Okay. So this is a nice little transition into the next strengthening pose we're gonna do. It's a great one for the feet, for the wrists, for the core, and for the shoulders. We're gonna come into a plank pose.
All right.
All right, so I personally love to do plank on my knees. It's a little bit more supported. So from your tabletop position, you can just start to walk the hands forward. Now, you can keep the toes tucked or untucked, but today I'm gonna keep mine tucked. And then making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. Hug your belly button in towards your spine. Start to engage your glutes. Good, breathing here. Now, another great way to do a plank pose if the wrists are feeling sensitive is to come onto your fists. And you can also do what Caroline is doing, coming onto her forearms. So again, listening to your body here, modifying where you need, always remembering to breathe. Good, one more full inhale. Long, slow exhale. Whew, we're working. And then go ahead and lower all the way down to the ground. Really nice, gentle, and slow. And you can untuck your toes. The next pose that we're going to come into is a Sphinx pose. So this is a chest opener where you're going to be on your forearms. So your shoulders are going to be over your elbows. Your index fingers are facing forward and your fingers are spread really wide. Now, your toenails are going to press down into the mat to activate your legs. And then as you inhale, lift up from your chest. And it's like there's a string attached to your head, and that string is pulling the crown of your head up. Good, so this is another one that's really great to reverse the rounding in the spine and help our posture.
Absolutely.
Are you feeling it?
Oh, yes.
Let's do one more breath together. Nice, and then gently lower down. And we are going to make our way into a little bit of a counter stretch. We're gonna come into a child's pose. So you can start to bend your knees, lift your chest up, walk your knees in, touch your big toes together, start to sit your hips back and rest your forehead down on the mat. Now, if you've got your blocks or thick books with you, you can use these. You can rest your forehead, for example, on a block and just breathe. So kind of just letting the spine and the whole body reset. And you can come into child's pose at any time throughout this practice if the body needs some rest.
Child's pose is my favorite.
Me too. Good, let's do one more breath here. And of course, you're welcome to stay in child's pose for as long as you'd like. When you're ready, you can come on up. And that concludes today's yoga practice.
Shannon, thank you so much for sharing the gift of your teachings with all of us.
Thank you.
I love all of those poses, and I'm confident that if you practice any of those poses regularly or use this video in your weekly routine, you will see big health benefits, not just in your bone density, but in your mental health. Some calm, grounding yoga is just what the doctor ordered in terms of movement medicine. So we want to hear from you. Did you like this video? If so, leave us a comment below. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, as it really does support the channel. For more information on Shannon and her yoga teachings, please visit Shannon on YouTube. We'll leave all of her channel links below in the description box. Thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing all of your gifts with us. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.